Hello, welcome back everyone. So welcome to the APNIC first security session, first APNIC security session. In this session, we will have three presentations. And maybe before we begin, let me just give a quick overview of the session. So basically, the first an APNIC security session was organized to encourage collaboration, cooperation, and sharing of insights among the security community in this region. And also we have speakers from outside the region to share, some latest updates and whatnot. The whole idea is to encourage collaboration, information sharing, and to maybe increase awareness of cybersecurity. My name is Adli. I'm a security specialist at APNIC. And normally at this event, I run this particular session. So this session is split into two parts. So the first part has three presentations. So in this session, we have speakers from Kaspersky, Sri Lanka CSIRT, and Swiss German University or academic CSIRT from Indonesia. And then we have three more speakers after the break. So I hope that everybody will stay for the whole duration of the presentation. Each speaker will talk for about 20-25 minutes, and then if we have time, we have Q&A. If not, feel free to talk to the speakers or the presenters, since they have made the effort to come to our conference to share insights and their knowledge. So without further ado, I would like to invite our first presenter, Ahmad Farid Razi from Kaspersky, to do his presentation. Let's give him a round of applause, everybody. Not forward slide. Like forward, all right. Okay. Just point to the TV. Okay. All right. Cool. Okay.
Hello, everyone, and good evening. I hope you guys have tasted the amazing food. So, for the today topics, I'm going to talk about an APT group, which a popular name of this group, we call it as a Mustang Panda. But in Kaspersky, we give another name, which is HoneyMyte. So, yeah, the topic is about the Mustang Panda in the wire, which mainly focus on Southeast Asia country. So a little bit of myself. My name is Farid Fauzi. I'm from Malaysia. So I'm work as security researcher in Kaspersky. So what did I do basically in every day? I research on new threat actors. I try to hunting more about APT groups around the world, include cyber criminal as well. So yeah, I'm interested basically in reverse engineering, malware analysis, forensics, and many more. So this is a little bit of myself. So in Kaspersky, we have a team called GREAT, which stands for Global Research and Analysis Team. So this is my team. So we've been established in 2008, and we've been we monitor over 900 groups around the world, and most of the monitored group are 90% being related to cyber espionage, that related to nation state sponsor attack. And then from what we research, the outcome of our research, we provide the threat intelligence report to our customer and partners. So it's about 10 years already. And what we do, we publish, like in 2024, we publish around 120 reports. And also in terms of the staff in GREAT, we have around like 30 members of experts doing the research on many countries, include Asia Pacific, Middle Eastern, South Korea, Latin America, and so on. So yeah. So for today, I'm going to talk about the HoneyMyte itself, which is Mustang Panda. So the catchy word, it's more like people like to use to call it Mustang Panda. So it's equal to HoneyMyte. So I'm going to talk about these topics today. Like first, I'm going to introduce to you guys about the profile of HoneyMyte, who's their targets in Southeast Asia, and also what vectors, initial vector that they use to compromise the victims, and also a little bit about their backdoors, what they do after they got compromised, and then the conclusions. So HoneyMyte is basically it has been active since 2014, right? And then I would like to say that this is an APT group based on the technique they use and the target they use in their operations. And in terms of origin, in Kaspersky, we can say that it's from a Chinese-speaking threat actor. We didn't attribute anything to a specific country, but from what we analyze and what we research, is a Chinese-speaking threat actor. And the other alias name for this APT group, we call it as Mustang Panda, Bronze President, like Stately Taurus, and Earth Predator. If you know about Earth Predator, it's Trend Micro name for this group, and many more. So in terms of motivation of the group, most of the malware, most of the operation we seen in the wild, they try to perform some cyber espionage to the victim. So basically, maybe for their own nation state government, all right. And the target are mostly governments. To be honest, is military defense, and also we've seen this group targeting like a research academic sectors, and as well as NGOs and telco. So in terms of the regions country, they mostly targeting APAC, Asia Pacific countries, but we also seen the malware have been detected in Europe and also North America. So but the most affected country by Mustang Panda is Southeast Asia, and that's why I'm giving the talk today, which is HoneyMyte Trail in Southeast Asia. In terms of in Southeast Asia, we see a lot of malware have mingled around in Southeast Asia. So this is the country which the most affected countries is Myanmar. All right. So in terms of how they compromise the victims, so one of the way is spam phishing emails. So what they do basically, HoneyMyte will craft a spam phishing email and deliver to the victims. And then once a victim click those attachment, what they will get is actually the backdoor access. All right. So the techniques being used in spam phishing, like MSI installer, they give you an archive file in a form of zip or RAR or ISO file, and a technique called grim resource. Another one is a malicious shortcut link. So in terms of when they craft this malware or spam phishing attachment, they also include some decoy documents to mimic that, like if they click the malware, a document will pop up saying that this is the document that you want to look for, and it looks like they try to decoy using this decoy document to just to lure the victims. Like this is from Thailand, and this is a decoy document in Myanmar, and this one is as well as Myanmar. All right. So just a use case. So this is a malware. We call it as Thorn Shell. And Trend Micro as well, they use name Thorn Shell for this malware. So what they do, they deliver the malware in a RAR file containing a malicious files. So this malicious file will contain shortcut links, I guess. Yeah, shortcut links with the file name of Burmese language. All right. And then what they do is basically whenever user double click on the shortcut file, it will execute a JavaScript file, and then open executing the JavaScript file, they will execute they will extract a file, and at the end, what they do is the JavaScript file will execute an executable file, and this executable file will execute a DLL file, and lastly, they will open a PDF file, the decoy document. So this is one of the example of the malware that being used by the HoneyMyte or Mustang Panda. All right. Another vector that I've seen, that my team seen in the wild, that they use USB worm type of malware, where what they do, they try to infect the victims that focusing on the air gap network that doesn't connect to the network, doesn't connect to the internet. So what they do, they usually craft a malware, craft a malicious attachment in the email, and then once a victim, one victim being compromised, and then the connected device or connected USB will be infected as well. And when this USB being distributed to other computer or server in your room, it will be infected as well. So in the wild, we see a lot of USB worm malware family, like the one that we research is like the Tondis and Luminous Moth. And Hupen is being researched by Trend Micro, while Hopatrick is from Checkpoint Research, if I'm not mistaken. So they use this kind of malware to targeting air gap network, and also try to compromise as much as they can. So in terms of the use case of Tondis, so from what I analyze, when an infected USB drive plug into a PC, so what you will see actually an executable file and hidden folder, which is if you enable the option of hidden folder, you will see those stuff. But by default, people will not enable the hidden folder. And whenever user execute this executable file, what they will do is actually they will open the folder of the original contents of the USB drive, which is basically the documents that you store in the USB drive. And then other than that, they will execute a malware, which is the Tondis launcher. So what they will do is execute the executable and then sideload a malicious DLL. And this malicious DLL will install the actual Tondis installer. It will drop somewhere in your USB drive and as well as in your computer. And then it will infect all the connected USB drive. And then this cycle will be repetitive whenever you connect to other computers, as well as they also try to execute the backdoor, which we call as a Ton shell. And lastly, the attacker will have access to your computer remotely. So we've done with the initial access. So after they have the initial access, mostly using the spear phishing and USB worm, what they will do, they try to maintain persistence in your computer using the backdoor and remote administration tools. So in HoneyMyte operation or Mustang Panda operation, we've seen a lot of backdoor being used by the malware, by the attacker. Some of it, the famous one like PlugX, which is a malware that being shared amongst Chinese-speaking threat actors, as well as ShadowPad. And they also use custom malware such as Ton Shell, Cool Client, QReverse, and many more. And one of it, you will see that Cobalt Strike C2 framework, an enterprise C2 framework being used by HoneyMyte. So to this day, this red dot mark is still actively used by HoneyMyte to this day in 2025. And also PlugX and ShadowPad are commonly being reused and shared amongst Chinese-speaking threat actor. And then the purple one, meaning that it's an enterprise C2 framework, meaning it could be they use the cracked version, or maybe they buy a new version of Cobalt, right? I'm not sure, but the last green dot one is typically what we've seen in Southeast Asia, which is we've seen PlugX, Stone Shell, Cool Client, QReverse, and many more. All right. So in terms of characteristic of this malware, from what I've done, the reverse engineering on this malware, I can confirm that it's highly obfuscated, meaning it's trying to make the analysis harder. So it contains multi-stages malware, meaning a malware will contain another malware that execute another malware. So that's what we call multi-stages. And also it's constantly being evolved, and the malware developer keeps employing new techniques in the malware. But it's still manageable to be analyzed and to be reverse engineering, because some people will say APT group is very advanced. Yeah, they are very advanced, but their malware is still manageable to be reverse engineering, to be honest. So let's talk about Thorn Shell, which is the most actively used backdoor by HoneyMyte. They usually being delivered using dropper and downloaders and being distributed around Asia Pacific regions, and Myanmar is the most affected country, and also being detected in Malaysia and Philippines in 2024. And in 2025, we've seen Thailand and Singapore are affected as well. And then the payload deliveries method are continuously evolve, which we've seen a lot of dropper being changes through the time. And this is the variant that being developed by the group from 2022 until 2024. We've seen a lot of variant have been discovered and developed by the threat actor. All right. So in terms of what the capability of this backdoor will do, they can open a file, copy your file, or maybe upload a file to your computer, or maybe download documents or execute local command like whoami and so on. So yeah, this is typical what backdoor will do. And if we investigate the code and reverse engineer the code, you will see that this is the switch case of the malware try to do their stuff like upload or terminate session or collect your system informations. So another malware that I would like to bring is Cool Client. So this malware is often deployed alongside PlugX and Thorn Shell. So it's more like they act like a second backdoor in terms of after the infection. So what they will do, the features are like a keylogger functionality. They have a clipboard monitoring. They also have like file management and also remote shell connection. So they basically will try to steal your sensitive data, right? Basically. So from what we reverse, we found out that they deploy keylogger in your PC. They will try to retrieve a clipboard function and also try to perform remote shell connection. So based on our observation, it used a lot of software to abuse the DLL side loading vulnerability. So this one is from, they use Bitdefender software to perform the DLL side load, while this one, they use VLC media player. This one is Sang4 software. In 2023, they use a software called ULIT Photo Impact. And more recently, they use Sang4 software to perform the side loading technique. So what will they do? They execute, whenever user execute the exe file, they will side load a DLL file. So this exe file is actually a legitimate executable. So when you try to upload the executable file into the VirusTotal, you will see it's a legitimate and zero detection. But the main culprit here is the DLL file that they specially craft for the malware operation. In terms of the flow of the Cool Client execution, as we can see that whenever user click on the executable file, they will sideload a DLL file, which is a malicious one. And then it will decrypt another file, which we, in this case, loader.dat. And what it contains is actually a shellcode and another DLL. So from what this graph shows to you, it's actually a multi-stages malware. Like I say, a malware in a malware. So that's typically what APT group usually do. And this shellcode will execute the DLL. The DLL will try to perform some process injections to another legitimate executable. And what they do, basically the one that I mentioned just now, they perform the keylogger, clipboard functionality, send data, try to steal your documents, and yeah, they send to the attacker C2 server. In terms of cool client affected countries, from this figure, we can say that most of the country around the world have been affected by cool client, but the most recent affected countries is Malaysia, Myanmar, China as well, and also Mongolia and Russia country. So yeah, this is what we detect in our telemetry in Kaspersky. So another backdoor that I would like to introduce is QReverse. It's not a backdoor, it's actually a remote administration tool by the Mustang Panda. So it's often deployed as a secondary backdoor as well, alongside PlugX. And what they do, it's basically have the same feature like Cool Client, but they have a screen share functionality, which they have a screen share functionality that they're able to get your screenshot of your PC. So the affected countries, from what we observe, it also affected Sri Lanka, Thailand, Malaysia, China, Myanmar, and Vietnam. In terms of what information they try to steal is like these informations, and as well as a file manager. All right. Okay, I just keep this one. So after they have the backdoor functionality, what they will do. So from what we research, they are a espionage focused operator. The main goal of their operation to collect documents, sensitive data, and in terms of lateral movement, we rarely seen this group perform the lateral movement, but we detect a proxy tool suggests that they might be perform lateral movement in their target environment. So this is what they do. Basically, they try to steal your cookies, your safe login data, your documents, and many more. In terms of persistent mechanism, this is the thing that they use. They use registry, schedule tasks, and services to perform the persistent mechanism. All right. So this is a script that used to try to compress all the files, specifically document, and then upload it to FTP server in their infrastructure. So they use a batch file with a scheduled task. And then another case, we found out they use PowerShell script. What they do, they will target a specific file extension such as DOC, PDF, Excel file, and TXT file. So all these files will be compressed and uploaded to the FTP server. And this one is they try to steal browser cookies and safe login data, right? And also this describing about the proxy tool that they use to maybe enable lateral movement in on the internal only system that doesn't not exposed to the internet. So we call it a star proxy, which same name as Zscaler give to this tool. And yeah, for the conclusion, HoneyMyte doesn't stop only in Southeast Asia. They keep expanding their target, and also they will target most of the time in APAC and Southeast Asia. And most of the attack is targeted and likely for espionage campaign. So the malware will keep evolve And then also in terms of attribution, it's a little bit difficult for us to attribute some of the malware as it being shared amongst the Chinese-speaking threat actor. But from our point of view, we try to take a look at the code, we try to take a look at the infrastructure being used and so on. So that's how we try to attribute a specific threat actor to a specific nation or specific group. So yeah, thank you. And I hope you learned something.
Thank you very much. We have time maybe for one question, if anyone has any question, or if there's a question online. Is there any question from the audience?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yes? Yeah. Uh,
Hello. Sorry, I'm not tall. Good afternoon. Sorry, yeah. My name is Lauren. I'm a security operations center analyst from Kroll. So, I previously worked in a government search, so I had some flashbacks like discussing when you discussed the topic. So, I was wondering that during those times that the APT group that you mentioned had these attacks. Was there a time that a specific APT group that targets certain Southeast Asia countries had like a spillover effect on other countries? And what did you do when that happened?
Sorry, can you repeat the one that spill over?
Yeah, like spillover, like this is where like an APT group targets certain countries, like for example Malaysia or Myanmar, and targets also certain categories like government and other critical industries. There sometimes has this situation where the attacks spill over to other countries
Hmm.
and other sectors because of how data moves from one place to another. So was there a time that that happened in your experience or in any situation? And how were you able to handle and share those information for those who were affected?
All right. So from my research and my observation, these APT groups such as the HoneyMyte, which focus on espionage campaign, they didn't do much in terms of try to spill over the affection to the other countries. And from my point of view, it's applied to cyber criminal attacks such as ransomware and so on. So what we do, we try to basically in terms of the cyber criminal, they will use a lot of technique like try to disable antivirus, try to perform some lateral movement. So from our perspective, people that being compromised are basically being compromised because of the configuration they set up, and also yeah, most of them are about configuration, even though they have the security mechanism in their environment. And I can say that awareness and also the hardening part of your system is very important, because security product is not enough to block this kind of attack, and they are literally very good in their operations.
Okay.
Yeah.
That will be all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right. So thank you very much once again to Farid. Let's give him a round of applause. Yeah. Yeah. Don't hesitate to talk to him directly if you have any further questions. So up next is my good friend from Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka Search, Mr. Charuka Damunupola. Let's give him a round of applause. Yeah. So this is forward,
Okay.
forward, backward.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like point.
Pointer is this one, laser. Yeah. Okay. So speak to the mic.
Sure.
All right. The floor is yours. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. And I'm feeling a bit nervous because there's a lot of fans behind me, my own fellows. So my name is Charuka. I'm representing Sri Lanka CERT. So today I'll be talking about the recent advances in keyword hacks and SEO spam tactics. At first glance, the keyword hacks may look like a small problem, a SEO issue, but in reality, this will eventually contribute to a larger problem where it can go into cybercrime, monetization strategies, and even in some cases, loss of search engine trust. So over the next 20 minutes, I'll be going through the investigation that we came up with this incident and how we carried out in identifying these type of attacks, and also what are the steps that we took in order to overcome or to remediate this issue. Right. Who am I? As you can see, I'm a huge fan of Batman. So my main focus area and my expertise is mainly into incident response. And also I'm part of leading the application security teams, where we, in day-to-day life, we are normally pen testing and doing application security to government institutions. So our main client is from the government side, where these cases also have a huge relevant in terms of these typical pen testing when it comes to application security. Okay, in today's agenda, I have structured into 7 key points. Mainly, I'll be giving you the introduction about what is keyword hack and the incident analysis. Probably you will find few slides on incident handling part where we are diving into the how we analyze this particular case, and also how this attack carried out. And if your website is affected by this type of attack, how you are going to verify it, and so on. And also what are the remediation steps in order to prevent these kind of attacks in the future. So by the end, you will see why these keyword attacks are not just a SEO annoyance, but a serious security concern. So this incident actually came to us through a victim organization. As I mentioned, we are part of the government organization. So our main constituents are government agencies. So we reached by some of our government agency, one of the top level government agency, that they see some unusual characters showing up in their Google search results. So now, why is that strange? Because this particular organization, so of course a government organization, had nothing to do or had no connection with any Japanese content at all. So it's not coming up from any translation or anything. So only reason that these strings appear in the Google search engine or the search result, it's actually the attackers hijack the website content and actually trick the Google into showing up these spammy e-commerce pages. So as I mentioned about earlier, this is part of our constituency. This problem is not only affecting LK related domains or even the gov.lk domains. It is actually happening in the global stage as well. The threat is not a local level threat. It's actually global level threat. So what is this keyword hack? You probably, by the term, it's just like a straightforward thing. But when you look at these keyword hacks, it has a different forms, different names. In the internet, if you do a quick Google search, you might find it as a Japanese keyword hack or Japanese search spam, or it can be a Chinese keyword hack, right? So in simply, what is happening is attackers are creating pages with these type of keywords. So usually they are auto-generated and mainly stuffed with product-related keywords. And also these page links actually related to certain counterfeit e-commerce markets and also some mainly scam websites. So you probably may ask why it is Japanese or Chinese, like it's nothing to do with their economies or anything relevant to geopolitics or anything, because these scams mainly target popular global e-commerce search terms like luxury goods, electronics, like cosmetics, right? So if you look at globally, Japan, China, even South Korea, they have like kind of like a huge online consumer market. So that's why these attackers are mainly use these search term from these particular languages. And also attackers mainly they are gaining profits by, like, let's say if an unsuspecting user clicks onto these links, and also they are gaining more trust towards from hacking this website, gaining their SEO trust, SEO rankings, in order to search, in order to gain search rankings on their own products, right? So during our incident analysis phase, the first red flag came up in the Google search result. So instead of the real legitimate pages coming from this website, we saw a kind of like a titles, like even the snippets coming in Google search result in different kind of search result, as you saw in a previous slide. So when someone clicks to this search result, it will actually go to these kind of e-commerce websites. So this is a real snapshot of what we got from like a simple Google search result. And you can see that Google actually index these spam appears, like it kind of like a hiding malicious content in some of the cases. But these are legitimate sites that showing up with these keywords or like characters coming up relevant to these different type of counterfeit e-commerce websites. So the problem, as I mentioned, is not only for LK. So we thought of doing kind of like a more research on this one. So we went to a bit of like Google docking, and obviously we went to the neighboring country and we did some domain name search using the Indian domain, whether it's having affected on those areas as well. But as you can see in the left side, there are a number of domains coming up on the India as well. And not just only that, similar Japanese or like characters, even the Chinese SEO spam campaigns have been reported in North Korea and even UK as well. So this is essentially kind of like a SEO poisoning. So attackers manipulate these kind of like a site maps and even some, in some cases, metadata information in certain websites in order to get their higher rankings in the Google search engine. So if you look at this, this is kind of like a snapshot of the sitemap XML. I think you probably may have heard about what is sitemap.xml. So every website has this one. So unlike, you probably think it just attackers just dump these spammy content or spam pages into your site, right? But it's not that, right? They play their like SEO game better than most of the digital marketers, right? So what they're doing is they actually manipulate the sitemap plus the metadata information, right, in the compromised site. Why? Because search engines like Google, they rely heavily on these kind of sitemaps and meta information to get a better idea about the site structure and also the prioritize what to index. So by injecting their own fake products, as in this snapshot, right? They provide these kind of rich metadata keywords that eventually Google will help to like index these victims' trusted domain in their Google search engine results. So imagine, let's say some user search on like in Google Nike shoes in Japan or cheap Gucci bags or whatever. So these hack sites will come up or pop up in the results, not just because it's relevant, because some of these websites are just belong to just random government website that doesn't have nothing to do with any e-commerce. But the thing is, because attack has put these injection into the sitemap, it will eventually come up in the Google index. So these tactics actually works because it's actually exploits the trust And also, the Google assumed that sitemap is actually controlled by the site owner itself. So, but here, actually, the attacker is the one who's quietly pulling up the strings. Right. So this is a kind of like a snapshot of a real e-commerce site that you will find in those kind of like links. Right. Now, let's look at one of the attacker's favorite tricks. We call as cloaking, or a method of concealment. So how this works? Let's say a normal user comes and visit the page. It's actually look like a normal legitimate page. It will actually show the legitimate content and nothing, or sometimes it can be just a blank page loading up. But if the request coming up from a crawler or search engine crawler, like for example, Google bot, right? So the attacker serves up a different page with stuff up with these spammy content, right? So in other words, it's actually the site is behaving differently based on the user, right? So who's visiting? So if a human see what is in the site, it's actually legitimate content, but from the point of view from a crawler, it's actually showing up some spammy content. So this is a clever tactic used for many reasons. It is one of the thing is, let's say the site owner actually in the full dark because he had no idea what is going on, because from the looks from his browser, it is actually working fine. But if you look at from like an attacker's way, from like a crawler or from a search engine, it's actually showing up with a different view. So in this case, what you can do is, like in Google Search Control, we have different tools like Fetch as Google or even URL inspection. So if you try that tools like Fetch as Google, you will probably end up how a search engine crawler will look like, or how it will going to look like these particular website that show with these spammy contents. So we continue with the incident analysis part. And we found out in our incident that in the index.php file, it's actually like, it's actually showing up these kind of like a encrypted malicious code prepared to it in the first, like the main index.php, right? So digging deeper into this affected server, we found this modified malicious code as I showed in the previous index.php. So we managed to actually decrypt that code, that part. And actually, this code is actually calling for another 3 function call, as you can see. And they are pointed to these 3, they actually pointing to these 3 other directories. So the thing is, these 3 directories are actually co-directories of CMS, the WordPress co-directories, right? Template.php and even the load.php. So this shows that these attackers are not just adding spammy content to these pages. They are going beyond that. They are like embedding themselves into the core heart of the CMS. So this is another infected malicious code that we found in those 3 different files. I'm not going to go into detail, but the most interesting part is this one of these PHP file contain even worse thing. As you can see, is actually this one of the infected files, we discovered a web shell. You know what is a web shell? It's essentially a backdoor placed by these attackers that could access directly over the internet. So this web shell actually running with the root privileges. So in this instance, these attackers had kind of like a near control of the server. So that transforms this simple keyword hack into kind of like a serious way of full-blown server compromise. So how these attackers carry these kind of attacks, like simple keyword attacks? You need to have your website compromised in the first place. So mainly when we are looking or analyzing these type of attacks, what we see is that mainly they are targeting like popular CMS like WordPress, Drupal, even other Magento likewise, popular CMS, and they actually exploiting the vulnerabilities in the WordPress with the use of different kind of WordPress plugins. And in some cases, we saw a directly listing enable, misconfigurations. And also in most of the WordPress that we investigated had no kind of a brute force prevention mechanisms where they didn't have any multi-factor authentication, likewise. So what happens after a Japanese keyword hack, or let's say this Chinese keyword hack, or different SEO hack? So mainly, what you're losing is your website's reputation, because customers see these kind of spammy text on your website, and it's your reputation that is tarnished in this case. And also, it's not going to end at that point. Your hosting provider may ban your host domain or suspend your site because it can detect as a malware. And also, Google itself can blacklist your domain, right? So it's kind of getting things by level, and by level, it's making a bit of hard for the website owner, because attackers can even go beyond that level, and actually they can add themselves as the owners in the Google Search Console, right? So that is making these things more hard. In short, you will lose reputation, revenue, and also in terms of traffic coming to your website itself. So it can take months to recover that sort of devastation. Right. So this actually a sample of one of the site that got suspended because of this reason. So in order to verify, I think the best way is to go with your Google Search Console and see whether if there's any owners added. And of course, you can see what are the Google search results giving up in your website console. And you can use the tools that I mentioned, like Fetch as Google, in order to see how crawlers look or crawlers see in your website. So that's a way of kind of a way to verify that your website is affected and not. And also, most of the time, the owners have no idea about what they're actually showing up these kind of spammy content. So that's one thing that you need to look in terms of identifying whether it's affected. So finally, in terms of remediation, there are a number of remediations, but I would suggest first to open up with your Search Console. And if you found any newly created accounts, URLs which put on recently, and also you need to look into the certain, PHP files added recently. But when you're cleaning up the things, like let's say you are removing the PHP files and stuff, these keyword hack often come with some sort of persistent attacks, as I showed you earlier, kind of placement of the backdoors. So just going over with cleaning up your PHP file won't do the thing, because most of the attackers plant web shells, though even they can plant a cron jobs, and they can scatter the malicious content all over the different unsuspected libraries as well. So if you're cleaning up in this process, I think I highly recommend you to do a deep forensic review as well if you are coming up from these kind of attack. So in future, the most important thing is, as during our investigation, what we found out is mainly this attack targeting the popular CMS. So if you're using CMS like WordPress, you need to keep up with your updates, patches. And if you are using some of these plugins, obviously, if you're using WordPress, you're probably using number of different plugins, libraries. So always try to keep up with the updates, patches. And nowadays, the positive thing is in defensive mode, most of the search engine, even the hosting providers, they will provide some sort of anomaly detection. If they see kind of like a sitemap changes or like a sudden increase in kind of indexing, they will provide you some sort of alerts. So better to subscribe or like at least to configure them in your websites. Okay, right. So in order to wrapping up the things, I think what I want to highlight is that the keyword hacks are like not just a simple kind of a form of website compromise. It's go beyond that, and we have seen that after compromise, these sort of website, those counterfeit e-commerce website can lead to a cryptocurrency website, a fake cryptocurrency website that will eventually end up going into money laundering and also other sort of cyber crimes. So as a website owner, it's your responsibility and it's your duty to protect the users coming into your websites. So as I mentioned, we need to have a like proper combining of technical controls as well as kind of like a good operation and discipline. So in that way, we can protect the integrity of the website content. So from there, I'll stop. Thanks for listening. Hope you had something.
Thank you. Thank you, Charuka. So we have some time for Q&A. So if anyone has any question to Charuka, please come to the mic and ask your questions. All good. I think it's very clear.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. One more time, round of applause for Charuka for his presentation. All right. Our next speaker is another good friend of ours, Charles Lim from Swiss German University. He's going to be sharing about their initiative, setting up the academic CSIRT and a bunch of other things. So let's give him a round of applause.
I think so. It's better. Okay. Yes, yes. 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 Is it okay? Okay. Sorry. Hi, everyone. Allow me to walk around. My name is Charles Lim. I'm actually really grateful to be here. This is the first time me in Vietnam. So it's a pleasure to share to all of you. My title today is actually talking about how to actually enhancing cyber resilience, especially in the academic worlds. I think Charuka was talking about CSIRT from the maybe national standpoint. We are talking about from the academic standpoint. So hopefully this can be a good experience to all of you. Okay, so I think I actually wear many hats. Yeah, actually I started the HoneyMyte project in Indonesia with some of my colleagues back in 2011, and at the same time, we also have some friends who actually established Academy CSIRT, which I'm now heading as a chief of operation. Actually, at that time, Pak Mantra, now he's no longer here with us. He's already passed away. But together, we actually established different community. I headed off with Indonesia HoneyMyte project, and then Pak Mantra almarhum actually headed out to Academy CSIRT. So right now, I actually, most of my time actually I spend in Swiss German University. I teach master degree of cybersecurity. But most of my time during not teaching, I usually do research and I also do a lot of community works. So here's my agenda. I want to talk a little bit about and get some update for Academy CSIRT. For those of you who are actually attending Wellington, I think it was ethnic 58, right? I did talk about ACAD CSIRT from the maturity level, how do you do assessment, and how do you actually move to the next level. But today I'm going to talk about the real stuff, how the university now planning to do security operations center to support their CSIRT, yeah, that they are establishing. So let's talk about that and how to get on board. So here is a bit of challenges that I would say part of the threat landscape. We know that there is always evolving cyber threats. You saw that from the previous two speakers. And then we also know that operational getting more complex. And also we know that leadership like campuses, they are not really paying attention on cybersecurity. To be honest, when we tell them that they got an incident in their website, only about 25% max that really care about to solve their problem. So that's the reality. So the leadership actually matters, right? And then, of course, budget constraint. Campus actually have a limited budget. They depend on tuition and many other such as research grant and to get their campuses working. And the latest actually talking about framework, yeah, because you know that campus usually have very low, I would say, in terms of governance. Yeah, maybe financial is probably the highest in terms of regulation and governance. But campus usually they are more relaxed. And so we can see that there is a quite weak legal standpoint. So this is the Indonesia landscape. Yeah, we know that there are 4,500 universities in Indonesia. That's a lot of university. And only about 1,500 that actually teach IT in their curriculum. Okay. Now, when we get into CSIRT, only about 20 universities actually have a CSIRT in their organization. And that's quite a few, yeah, compared to the number. Now, but that's also, there is a good thing about Indonesia also that we just established in 2023, there is a new data privacy law that in place. And hopefully this law become the driving force for the CISA to come. So this law actually enforce that, you know, every entity have to protect data privacy no matter what, including student data privacy, right? So that's a driving force. Now, about ACAD CSIRT, ACAD CSIRT actually established in 2011 in university, actually in our university, Swiss German University, and it's a non-profit, non-governmental national CSIRT. And what we do is actually we are trying to unite all these universities so that they actually respond to any incident that they actually reported to. And we continually promoting training, research, so that you know, more universities are aware of the situation. And of course, we also engage many CSIRT organizations. We invite many organizations to come to Indonesia to talk to them, so that they don't only listen to us, but they also listen from the international organization. So we try to engage in all aspect. Now, here is this sign, a signage in our university. So since 2023, Swiss German University has been appointed to as a National Coordination Center for Academic CSIRT. So what that means is, if there is a so-called abuse or any email that we receive from Badan Cyber Sandi Negara, which is the National Cybersecurity Agency in Indonesia, and also Ministry of Education, we usually pass it on to the university for the response. Now, note that I already mentioned only about 25% max that they actually respond to our notification. Now, this is just a simple notification. Hey, your website has been hacked, or you got a malware, or so on and so forth, right? So here is this way of developing community and coordination. So on the very right-hand side, we have a Ministry of Education, currently named Kemendikti Saintek, yeah. And on the left-hand side is our Badan Cyber Sandi Negara, which actually handle the overall national response. So we are actually coordinating with them. And then we also have another association, which is actually the Higher Education Association, which actually all the university under Apticom. So, and then below this is our CSIRT that we coordinate in response to any incident that might be reported by these two entities. Okay, so we begin our journey this year. We actually established a yearly conference. We call it the CSIRT Summit 2025. And we also conducted a cyber competition for the first time in our nation. It's not a CTF, capture the flag, but we are actually having a competition on incident response. So what it means is that every team, when they compete, they have to write a report of what they found and how do actually they respond to the incident. Now, we also conducted incident response training. So it's like a 3-day summit. The first day is on training. The second day is like a summit. And then the third day is actually a site visit to many of the organizations that they would like to visit. We have a technical workshop, a parallel workshop. I think we have 8 workshops, ranging from CSIRT to how to find research grant, and honeypots and many others. And we also have a exhibition, demo solutions to all the academics, and of course we also have MOU signing. I think 162 academics or universities sign up to get ready to become CSIRT. So we are so glad, right? We only have 20, now we have 162 signing up to become CSIRT, which is a good progress. Of course, we are targeting 500 each year, still way off, but we are progressing, right? And then we also have awards for the competition awards and other awards as well. So these are the University Maranatha, actually in Bandung. They can host about 1,500 participants, which is a huge auditorium, And we have a lot of people that came, I think about 400 to 500 people. And like I said, it's about 162 campus actually sign up. Now, of course, our head of Badan Cyber actually came, Pak Nugroho, and this gives us really assurance that our summit is on the right track, because whenever there is a high-ranking official from the government came, that means our event is important to them, right? So we are so glad, and again, we managed to get 162 universities to sign up. Okay, these are just pictures to show you there are 5 winners, and it's distributed among military and financial and academic. So it's quite well distributed between these entities. Yeah. So here is a key achievement of the summit, and this will become a yearly summit that we will conduct to raise awareness on the CSIRT. First, we want to conduct, we already conducted the incident handling training, which impacted about 100 people. We don't expect that. We only expect like around 30, but we get about 100, which is 30% more than expected. And then we also engage about, I think there is 111 teams. Yeah, and we only expect like 50, but it's more than double, right? So we are so glad that the cyber competition actually draw a lot of attention. And then there is a diverse winner between military, government, and academia. And also university commitment is also seen from their commitment to actually to go forward and to be, go on board on this CSIRT commitment. Yeah. And of course, we are so glad that the collaboration actually works. And we are seeing that people are now networking together. They are not into each individual university. So here is some statistics. You can see that a lot of the actually participants come from the academia, about 10% from government, corporate about 10%. So it's a good mixture between, I call it ABGC. Yeah, ABGC stands for academic, business, government, and community. And from the workshop standpoint, we have about seven workshop, and they are quite distributed, well distributed. You can see that A and C may be the most popular workshops. Okay. Now we are introducing a new package that this is actually not new because we already been using in our university. But what is unique about this package is an open source package. And it is actually funded by a JICA, actually a Japanese organization. I don't know whether Kamata is here, if you're here. Basically, this open source is now available on the public. You can download them. We integrate the CM or the Wazoo, and then the ticketing system and the threat sharing together with the light SOAR or security orchestration, yeah, which is for automation. In this case, if you have, let's say, email from organization, you can immediately read the email and then create a ticketing system in the iris. So the SOAR give us a lot of the automation efforts. Okay, and of course you can also integrate telegrams, your ChatGPT, your malware analysis, together, part of your threat detection. So the question is, why do we use TGuard? We have been trying to integrate this together for the public so that people can use not only for the government, not only for the university, but also for the government. So the government start using this package for their own benefits. And they can check everything from the source, yeah, because it's open source. What's actually benefiting is actually they are open. They are actually integrating every cost-effective package, and they can create their own threat intelligence. Yeah, meaning that if you are from the government, you can create your own channel, right? In an MISP, you can create a channel. Yeah, and this channel becomes shared among the governments or the universities. So essentially, the threat intelligence become part of your communities, right? And then you can do an automated response. And also, by the way, TGuard also allow you to do multi-tenancy. So that's what we are doing. So for those universities that doesn't have any resources, they can work with us. We actually have services, yeah, that is a very low cost for yearly subscribing, yeah, and I will explain that later. So what ACAS CSIRT provide is actually a low-cost yearly subscription for all the university. We start with a basic notification service. We give them like a 5 endpoints, not many, but they get started, yeah, and very low cost. And then they got 1 month log retention. If they want more, they can actually add some more services, but that's what we give. Right? And it's a very low cost. Maybe you will not believe how low it is, right? Now, this is just a simple onboarding workflow. We are still working on the overall look and feel, but you can see that we want to make it seamless and easy, yeah, so that they can come in, register, and then get approval from the government, and they can start their CSIRT immediately, right? So that's what we want to do, right? And so we try to make it seamless as possible. Now, in this process, we usually provide them with some tutorial workshops, right? Usually 1 day, right? In this 1 day workshop, we usually provide them with the 2 use cases. And the most common use cases is a ransomware. The other most common use cases is web defacement. A lot of the university, either they got ransomware or they got a web defacement. Well, there are other as well, but these are the 2 most common ones. Now, these are some of the screen captures where, let's say we teach them if there are brute, usually, this guy started out with the RDP brute force trying to get into your remote desktop, right? And we teach them how to sort of detect what are the possibility failure that they may seen in their threat detection, which is actually detected by Wazoo, and how to read the alerts, because these have level of alerts with the highest is actually on the top, which is it's actually 1 to 15 or 20, yeah? I forgot. But anyway, that's how they put some severity level. And if they actually try to execute any file, they will see some scripting being executed, and the level actually can tells you what to do next, and then you can also respond to, maybe you can create a script using a SOAR to actually block or isolate a particular, let's say, desktop or maybe laptop that actually doing this file execution, right? So anyway, you can actually do some automation, and you can get the result on that. And the other one is also to follow up, right? This is talking about once your log bit is actually being executed, you will see a lot of these file registry being changed or created, right? And the level is getting higher, right? Compared to just file execution. Now, of course, on everything that you are seeing here can be automatically managed or created the tickets, and those people who are in the analysts, they can actually respond to whatever that they are seeing, depending on the level of criticality. So this is just one use case that we actually teach them and how to respond, step by step. Okay, the other use cases that we actually also provide during the tutorial is the web defacement, right? Wazoo actually provide many actually, for example, like a injection effort, yeah? Here, they may actually do some SQL injection, and this SQL injection may generate an alert, and whereby automatically send to sort of the ticketing and the analysts saw, okay, this is what they need to respond, right? And then, of course, if there is also a modification, I think earlier, I think from Kaspersky, right, talking about web shell. If you are uploading anything that to your directories, then your PHP, it will be detected, and then it will create another alerts. Again, these are all integrated into this ticketing system, allow the analysts to respond quickly on what they are seeing, not just depending on the alert. Okay, so currently we have about 5 universities that are actually, we call it as early adopters. Yeah, this 5 university is now trying to be on board, and we are trying to provide multi-tenancy based on the services that I just described. And hopefully this is the new beginning. And when we have this 5 university get started, we hope that other university will start to see what is the benefit and how they can actually participate to enjoy the benefit with the very low cost services, right? And there is always a possibility to be more in terms of their, let's say, number of endpoints, or maybe the retention. You can get, let's say, 3 months instead of 1 month, and so on and so forth. So my key takeaways for this is that we have now 162 campuses sign up to initiate the CSIRT, and with the target 500 this year. We are still hoping, because after this CSIRT is signing up, we will go on to many campuses to conduct seminar and workshop. Yeah, this is agreed between us and the government. So hopefully we can get more sign up. This is just a new start. And with the 5 early adopters, you can call it as a proof of concept, right? So that people can see, oh, okay, now this university can witness and they can tell us what sort of the experience that they actually encounter during this early adopters period. And of course, we launch with a very basic service first. Very basic means just notification. If they need more, then we can do more. But by the way, in a few more months to come, we will also provide a platform for people to get trained, yeah, online and also offline. So we will continuously provide more services as more university actually sign up for these services. Last but not least, we will do campus visit for sure, and we will organize into cluster, maybe let's say Sumatra Island, Java Island, Kalimantan Island. So depending on maybe east and west, just like Vietnam, you have a north and south, and so on and so forth. So we hope that by doing campus visit, we can actually accelerate the onboarding process, and also having people to implement and see the real thing in their university. The goal is that they actually monitor the most critical asset, that they think that they want to monitor, because sometimes they don't even understand that, oh, these are the critical assets that they need to monitor. And most likely, those critical assets contain those privacy that all the students usually have. So the data privacy law actually help us to do this. And then the other is that this summit actually allow us to meet and to show that we are now in an urgent state where we need to go forward to protect our asset. I think with that, I think I will end my presentation.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Pak Charles. Very interesting presentation and good initiative. We're quite ahead of time, and I would like to invite, if there's question, please come to the mic and ask your question.
Thank you for sharing. Good to see the initiatives in Indonesia.
Can you speak loud?
Come a bit closer to the mic. Yeah.
Good to see the initiatives in Indonesia. As you pointed out, passing the law was an accelerator for actually getting this going. My question would be, how long was that law in preparation? And why was there nothing done before that? And what are the consequences of failing to comply now? Would the university, for example, lose their license if there is something happening? Thank you.
Yes, okay. Is that all?
Yes.
Your name?
Mike.
Mike, okay.
CNX, Cambodia.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you for the question. Yes, actually in 2023, the law is already established, but in Indonesia, usually we have two different regulation. One is undang-undang, which is the overall, we call it the undang-undang, the big law. And then there is a small sort of a guideline to implement the law. Yeah, we call it the peraturan, right? So we are still waiting for the peraturan, but the law already mentioned if you fail to comply with this, you will be punished, not only from the financial standpoint, you also get to go to jail and you are actually considered, violating the law. But there are more actually, other than just law. Actually, the government want to enforce this become sort of the part of the accreditation of the university. So previously, this cybersecurity, subject is basically, not attached to the accreditation. So what it means is that accreditation is just focused on the curriculum, right, on the overall operation. But now, since the operation, require that you need to protect the data privacy, so now the government is thinking about, okay, let's make this undang-undang become part of the accreditation, so that when the university look for the assessment for accreditation, they are part of the cybersecurity awareness too, meaning that they have to fulfill the data privacy law when they accredited for the university. So that's the next strategy. But currently, we are now raising the awareness, and we want them to come on board with their awareness that, oh, we need to do this, right? But in the next round, the government is thinking about putting this into accreditation.
Yep. Next question, please.
So,
We have-
hello, good afternoon. I'm Kumar.
Hi, Kumar.
So I'm from Global Cybersecurity Community Forum. So thank you, Dr. Charles Lim, for a wonderful presentation. So we initiated this Global Cybersecurity Community Forum during APNIC 58 conference. And as you are also a founding member of this community forum, so my question is how we can collaborate and engage community to expand the academic CSIRT beyond Indonesia. So how Global Cybersecurity Community Forum can help to expand the community and engage the community beyond Indonesia.
Okay, thank you very much, Kumar. Yes, I agree. I met Kumar last year in Wellington, yeah, and APNIC 58. And I'm actually part of the community that are actually, we actually build in a global scale. Of course, as I mentioned, cybersecurity is about collaboration, right? I usually like to call it ABGC, academic, business, government, and community. So this ABGC should be collaborating together. So one way to do that is, like today, I'm sharing this, we're conducting a workshop, and then conducting some training in different country, different area, maybe different provinces. in different country around Asia Pacific. So I think that is part of the deal that we discuss, right? That we need to collaborate, right? So ladies and gentlemen, I think this collaboration is important, yeah. Not only in the national scale of Indonesia, we are now also looking for. We are signing up MOU with Wellington and also with Malaysia. So we will expand, right, the collaboration.
So how Global Cybersecurity Community Forum can help to expand?
Yeah, like you say, I mean, the cybersecurity forum, for those of you who didn't know, you may talk to Kumar and expand your impact, yeah, because that's what we are doing. And hopefully you can participate in this by you participating, you know, become speakers, sharing in different workshops, yeah. I think that's the most important thing, yeah, sharing, exchanging information.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kumar.
Yep, we have some question from online, I think.
Yes, we have an online question from Imtiaz Rahman. Regarding the external integration, is it safe to share internal systems logs or information to an outside entity like ChatGPT?
Okay. Yeah, there are two aspects on sharing internal information. We actually have a policy. Yeah, maybe I didn't show it here, but we actually have a security policy that we actually anonymous all this critical information, their IP address, essentially what is actually considered privacy, we will anonymize, yeah, and only we work on the masking data, so we don't actually share this data to the public while we working together with the university. That's number one. Now, obviously, number two, if you work with ChatGPT, right? You know that the most important thing is you don't share your privacy. You can actually work with the data, but the data should actually doesn't actually include any data privacy. So, for example, if you have an incident, you need to make sure that it has been masked and also it has been anonymized. Yeah, so that when you actually try to understand, maybe from the ChatGPT standpoint, you get, let's say, generative, helpful comments or reports or anything that you expect from ChatGPT. Hopefully, this will answer your questions.
Thank you. Maybe one last one. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm Harris Chen from Taiwan with TWNIC, but I'm not working in cyber-related industries or so forth. I'm also AP NIC 60 fellow, and I have a comment and also special thanks for all the presenters today because I'm working as a prosecutor. And in fact, the more that the CSIRT or the cybersecurity side does more, the less burden we have in our cases, and that's for sure. And also, I would like to say special thanks to Sharika. It's a great presentation. And what I'm thinking is that the more advanced technology gets advanced, the cybersecurity side should be, I think, everybody's concept, and not only the tech part, not only those nerdy technicians that will think about that. So just a special comment and thank you that everybody's working on this. And the more you have on your work, I think the less victims will rise. Thank you.
Thank you for the comments.
Thank you. So one more time, round of applause to Pak Charles for the excellent presentation. All right. So I would like to share my appreciation to everybody here and also online to join our session. Remember, we have another session after the break, and you don't want to miss it. We have presentation from Shadow Server Foundation, Team Phoenix from Bangladesh, and Armories from Japan. The contents are really good, so please come back at 4:30, and hopefully you can engage with the speakers like you did in this particular session. Thank you, everyone. See you at 4:30.